Hello, bonjour, Sanbanani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. If you're watching us online, please feel free to put in a chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from today's podcast. My name is Nompumelelo Riel Kunene. I'm going to be your host for today. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers to share some nuggets on successful parenting. In Denver, Colorado, we have Christina Garcia. In Los Angeles, we have we have Jay-Z, I'm kidding, Jay Reese. And in Duncanville, Texas, we have Cassandra Brown, AKA the Tilted Fedora Trainer. At this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Christina.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Christina Garcia, as Nom has introduced me. I am a NICU RN of 11 years who went into fitness coaching and now life coaching. I'm aspiring author in the Book Publishing Academy, so I'm aspiring to be a self-published author, and I am a mother to a spunky 4-year-old little Leo.
Go ahead, Ray.
Hello, my name is Jay Reese, and I am a vegan. I am at the process of bringing my sexy back and getting my fitness game on as well. I am a husband to my lovely wife of 15 years. I have 2 wonderful children, which funny enough, one of them is actually kind of mad at me at the moment because she has been grounded for some unfortunate behavior that she displayed. But I'm sure nobody here can relate to having to discipline their children. But that is me currently right now.
Dr. K.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Cassandra, Dr. K. Brown, the Tilted Fedora Trainer, and I'm coming to you live from DFW, Texas, the place God loves most outside of heaven. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm the mother of 4 adult sons. They are all gone, grown, and don't need a loan. 2 of them are married. 2 of them are single. And I am bugging the 2 that are married daily to get me grandchildren while I am still able to get on the floor and play with them and get up under my own power. I am an author, speaker, preacher, teacher, and coach. And I have a book published called Moving Beyond Betrayal, Help Getting Past What You May Never Get Over. It's available on Amazon and on my website, www.thetiltedfedoratrainer.net.
Wow, amazing. So our first speaker is going to be Christina Garcia. Christina is a nurse, a coach, speaker, and a mama. An 11-year dedicated newborn ICU nurse, supercharged into the ultimate hype girl, expressed through speaking, virtual experiences, and group coaching, tailored for the everyday mommy. Her mission is to empower mamas who are stuck in their everyday role by discovering points of healing to reclaim their power and purpose in order to nourish their mind, body, heart, and soul. So kings and queens, help me to welcome Christina Garcia.
Ooh, thank you. That was quite the introduction. So when I was thinking about this topic, I thought, okay, can single parents be successful? And I thought, well, hell yes, we can. Most of us who are single have either gone through separation, divorce, dealing with co-parenting, all those things. So, and some of us are still dealing with ex-partners and not having child support. And so if single parents can succeed, the absolute answer is yes, we can. The truth about that though is how. And so in my opinion, the tough part of success through my own experience and my clients that I have worked with is the blockages we have in healing. Okay, so what I found is when I had my son in 2016, I completely lost myself. I was caught up in the everyday role of taking care of my son, taking care of my baby, taking care of the home, right? And that can get so daunting. You lose yourself, you play all these roles. So I found myself through working out. It was the one sole thing that I can give to me and would nourish me to give back to my family. So I fell into fitness coaching. And when I started to work with other mommies, I started to work with them with their goals. And as we started to tackle what they wanted out of their body composition, I realized, oh my goodness, they are having these blockages. Where are they coming from? The deeper that we got into the different things that they were encountering, it all had to do with what they were dealing with subconsciously and consciously and what was happening in their heart. So we found self-limitations. And at the end of the day, we realized we are our own limitations. Some of us call us our own worst critic. I like to call myself my greatest challenge. So you will see over time that I am also an overly optimistic human, but that can only get you so far. So through my own healing, I have found that through unhealed traumas, repetitive patterns, and not making connections between the two is what really equals in those blocks. So what happened when I started to consciously heal? Well, I increased my self-intuition because I was able to trust myself on a deeper level. I increased self-awareness. I was awakening a subconscious repetitive reel that I replayed over and over again in the background, which played a significant role on how I showed up every single day. So here's where it led me. In 2019, I stepped out into my truth and my current reality as I began to open my eyes to what the healing process really looked like and where my happiness really lied. And I asked for a divorce from my ex-husband back in 2019. Through that process, a ton of transition in my own personal healing and growth occurred. I was obsessed with the work of making connections between patterns and relating them to the past traumas. And I asked myself, how is this helping, right? How can I make it easy for me to remember this process that I keep going through? Because what's a testament to having the events and being part of a healing community such as the Rise to Greater Heights is the healing in community is strong. It lets us know we're not alone. It lets us know we are all going through some heavy, heavy things. And as we heal individually, we heal collectively because healed people heal people. Now, with all that being said, when I see a problem, we creates a need, and the need creates a solution. And when the solution speaks to you, it results in a calling that eventually becomes your purpose. So does it make us uncomfortable? Hell yes, it makes us uncomfortable. But what is true about discomfort, right? When we step outside of our comfort zone, we broaden it. We're right here, right? Here's our comfort zone, right here in the middle. What's outside of our comfort zone is right here on the borderline. Every time you decide to move yourself from the middle of your discomfort outside of the comfort zone, you broaden the range, right? You broaden the range. And as you broaden that range, it gets a little bit bigger and that discomfort zone becomes more feasible, right? So if you are asking yourself if you're ready for success, baby, you were born ready for success. So what I developed, and this is something that's going to be in the book that I'm currently working on, I developed an acronym called HEAL. It's a way that we can bring an enjoyable way to the healing process. It's easy, it's tangible, and it's something that I also teach in my 12-week group coaching program called Revive and Thrive, where we take a very deep dive into the process of healing, okay? So we're gonna go over what the acronym stands for. H is honor and have gratitude. E is embody and express. A is allow and accept, and L is to love and let go. Tell me that does not sound easy. These are easy things that we do every single day, but it's hard to put it all together. And when you can have an acronym, I don't know about you, but when I was in school, I used all the acronyms in nursing school to help me get through because that is a lot of information to absorb. So I just applied what I'd known in nursing and the healing process in that profession. And as I progressed through my own life and my own coaching business, I was able to come up with this beautiful way for you to apply to your own life when it comes to healing. So honor and have gratitude, right? For me, where is it starting from? Where do you feel it in your body? So you get to honor it. For me, it's in my gut. You may have it in in your sweaty palms. You may feel it in a heart beating fast. You may have a lump in your throat. Tell us in the comments where exactly you feel it in your body when you start to have anxiety or you start to feel the healing process needing to start, right? And this takes practice. So be very kind to yourself, okay? Next, we want to walk into gratitude. It's always an entryway to the present moment. What happens when we start getting caught up in emotion is we take away the present of what's currently happening in our real reality. So the gratitude allows us to take a mental shift from a emotional mindset to a conscious mindset, and it gives us something to be grateful for within that situation. Okay, next is embody and express. Embodying emotions means visualizing where it is. So first we honor and we see where and we feel what it is, and then we visualize where it is. And we visualize letting it go. We allow it to dissipate in the visual work. We get to develop the difference between observing the emotion and being the emotion, which leads me into expressing, okay? We are taught to suppress our emotions, that vulnerability can make you weak, but in fact, vulnerability makes you powerful. Expressing what you feel, getting it out, allows a release to happen within you. And I would love to challenge you. When you're in your expression zone, we have the tendency to say things like, I am sad, I am hurt, I am depressed. And those are all feel very real. What if we changed it to I feel hurt, I feel upset, because we are not our emotions. The I am statement is very powerful. It is in the law of the universe and manifestation, and we get to take the control back by saying we feel versus we are or I am. Other ways and other tools that you can use to express is journaling, saying out loud, finding a trusted person, getting into the Rise to Greater Heights community, finding connections in that network, or finding a therapist or a coach. And there are some in this room right now that I'm sure that you could connect with. Allow and accept is the next letter of the acronym. As we express instead of suppress, it opens us more up to allow. Give yourself permission to move through the emotions, and accept is also giving yourself the consent to receive. Whatever messages are coming to you from the universe, from source, from God, accepting the control that you have in your life to create change, and accepting what you feel versus what you say you are. I hope you guys are following me. Throw some hearts, throw some thumbs up in the comments, some smiley faces if you are tuning with us live. Lastly, love and let go. Simple. There is nothing but love and compassion available to you at this time. So how we hold love and space for ourselves is how we're going to hold love and space for others. And we can't get there until we identify what that is for ourselves. What parts of ourselves need to be healed first? So I want to seal love and let go with a beautiful ancient Hawaiian saying that I use in my practice daily. It's called Ho'oponopono. Ho is to make, pono is right. And double repetition of the word means doubly right. So to make doubly right. And if this is landing you in the comments, let me know. Is this something that you've heard? Is this something that you used before? Okay, because here's what it stands for. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. How powerful and how simple. Healing doesn't have to be complicated, right? There's always so many different methods out here, the magic models and everything I'm teaching you today, you can teach yourself. There's no secret sauce. You are the secret sauce. Everything that you have gone through has a purpose, and what you've experienced is only what you've experienced in your own way, and that is your secret sauce. There is only one of you, and your success is in how you stand up for yourself, how you build awareness in who you are, and how you happily heal. You guys got this. So always open for deeper questions, discussions, and how you can heal through. I have virtual experiences that I hold monthly. I have my coaching groups, as I've described before. I offer so much free value on Instagram. I also have a live show that you can connect with me on every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. called Yes Girl, because I believe in collaboration over competition, because when you win, I'm winning, okay? So you can find me on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse, and Twitter, and you can find me at inspire.n.level-up. Thank you for your time. Now go out and heal happy, y'all. And yes, you are successful and you are the secret sauce.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Christina. That was a powerful message. You say that we'll have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. How cool is that? And you've outlined how we can do that. Being vulnerable gives you strength to press on. Wow, that was a powerful message and it came in timely. Thank you so much. And you've also mentioned that we'll have to be the ripple and make a difference. Of course, we'll have to make a difference in this world, more especially in this pandemic. There are many people undergoing different circumstances, so we'll have to step up and make a difference. Thank you, Christina. Our next speaker is not Jay-Z, but it's Jay Reese. Jay Reese is a highly sought after speaker and a motivator, most known for inspiring others to achieve their dreams. He has motivated thousands around the world, and he has 8-year track record of experience as a vegan lifestyle coach and motivator. Jay is the founder of Superhero High, an online program launching spring 2021 that teaches you the 12 principles of becoming the hero that you were designed for, the hero that you've been called for, and how to fight against the villains in your life. After finding that the superhero inside himself, Jay believes it's possible for every person to find their great abilities within and become the hero of their life. Jay's mission is to help everyone break free from the villain conformities, grasp and live in their destiny. So, kings and queens, help me to welcome Jay Reese.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it so much. And also, thank you, Rise to Greater Heights community, for inviting me to speak today. And I also want to thank everyone out there for watching and striving to be a better parent. And I just want to say a better parent and or successful parent is a very hard term to grasp. And I say that because, as Christina was saying a moment ago, I think all of us struggle with figuring out what kind of parent we want to be and being a successful parent. Because a lot of us, when our children were born, we didn't get a manual, we didn't get a pamphlet saying, when they get sick, do this. When they behave this way, do that, right? None of us got that kind of lecture or pamphlet, right? So I think the first thing to be a successful parent is defining what is success for you. Is it having a stellar athlete? Is it having an academic scholar? Or is it just simply that the fact that your child is alive? I mean, I know, because for me, there are many days I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad they are here today because I got nothing. But I only say that because regardless of how you choose to define successful parenting, your struggle doesn't happen because of your kids, and it doesn't happen because they aren't the motivation. It all falls under you. And it falls under you because you have to learn self-love. If you don't learn self-love and how to love yourself, it'll be harder for you to spread that love to every other aspect of your world, including your children. And you have to learn how to treat yourself as well, because how you treat yourself is a reflection of how you treat others. So if you treat yourself and if you treat yourself better and you learn how to love yourself, particularly if you learn how to like yourself, it's natural that that love is going to spread to others, including your children. And when you do that, you're modeling a behavior of loving yourself that will transcend to your children. And when you do that, they will start to model that as well. And then it'll become easier for you to, well, if you don't already, practice what you preach, which again, your children are more likely to emulate, because let's be honest, kids may hear what you say, but they will see 100% of what you do, and they will copy your behavior. So we have to get into this mindset of leading by example, because it's very easy for a lot of us to say things and not do them. Or the fact of we might say things that we don't even realize we're saying. For example, I had a habit of saying negative things about myself. I would often go around saying, oh, you're so stupid. Oh, why'd I do that? You idiot. But then I caught my kids saying it. And I quickly realized, you know what? I got to stop doing that, because I know that they're not stupid. So I don't want them doing that as well. So once I stopped doing that and I started speaking life into myself and loving myself, I noticed my kids started doing the exact same thing. So we have to model this. We have to model a positive behavior that we want our kids to see. So in turn, we don't pass on those bad generational parenting habits that we've either picked up from ourselves, our friends, or even our parents. And that's not to say that our parents are bad, because they loved us the best way they knew how. But how many of us have heard, do what I say, but not as I do? Or the ever popular, it's my way or the highway. Yeah, my parents would say that often, making me feel dismissed and unheard, because at the time, my parents were more about the respect and do what I say. It doesn't matter what I do, just do what I say. Right? So we must create an environment that our children can feel validated and be allowed to be a voice for their opinions, respectfully, of course, but they have to have a place where they can speak open and freely so they can feel loved and valued. And I know a lot of times that's not the easiest thing to do, depending on the situation, but if we take the time to hear the challenges and listen to what our kids are saying, we will begin to understand and know how to love them in the way that they need to be loved. So we have a thing in my house called Judge Daddy. It started off as a running joke, but now it has become a staple in our lives, where our kids, if they have any disagreement with anybody in the family, they are allowed to call Judge Daddy. Judge Daddy comes up, he hears all the facts of the case, only the facts, no emotions, just the facts. And the kids get to come and say and speak their mind in an open, safe place. They feel valued, they feel loved, and they feel heard. And in turn, me and my wife get to hear how they feel, why they feel the way they feel, and what's exactly going on with them. So it becomes this open place where they can speak their mind and express themselves without being ridiculed for whatever, regardless of the situation or what the disagreement is. So it helps us learn what's called a love language. So everybody has a love language. And if you haven't heard of a love language before, I want to say there's 5 basic love languages, and everybody has a unique love language. Some people have the same, some people have different, but everybody has them, including our kids. So when you give your kids the opportunity to speak, and with open anonymity and just however they choose, you start to learn who they are, and you learn how to love them the way that they need to be loved. For instance, both of my kids love quality time, which happens to be a love language, but both of my kids love quality time differently. See, my son, he loves to build Legos, and he loves to go out with his telescope, and he loves when I'm there with him doing it and spending that quality time off my phone, not working, just with him. My daughter, she loves to tell me about whatever book she's read or the fact of her plans for when she goes off to college and other stuff like that. So both of them love quality time, but they love it differently. But I wouldn't know that if I wasn't taking the time to hear them and giving them an opportunity to speak their mind and be open in a healthy manner. So we have to be able to love ourselves so that way we can love them in a healthy manner, and we can learn to lead by example so we can model the behaviors that should be portrayed and cause us to break the generational bad chains that may have hindered us from allowing them to have a voice, which also would have stopped us from learning their love language. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If it makes sense, write in the comments. So we have to create this environment, and there's multiple different ways of doing it. And clearly, you don't have to go as elaborate as having a judge daddy or judge mommy, but create a space where your kids are open and able to talk. And sometimes you got to put your ego aside, because sometimes they're going to say things that's going to hurt your feelings, or at least they hurt mine. But when you give them that space to be open and talk, more things happen. And when you start loving yourself, I found it easier to be able to listen to them and model the behavior that I want to have and that what they want to have. And it was mostly because I learned that I needed to define what success was for me, and learning how to love them the way that they needed to be loved. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate your time. And thank you again for having me here today.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Jay, for such a timely message, a very, very profound message. You've mentioned that we'll have to break the generational bad parenting cycle. Like our parents, all we can do to them was to show respect. And I am one example of that. Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome, definitely.
You've also mentioned that we'll have to allow our kids to have a voice. And that this is so crucial, more especially these days. Like if our kids can have a voice, they can be able to stand up for themselves out there. And the last point that we've mentioned is say we'll have to learn to love them the way they need to be loved.
100%.
The way they need to be loved. There is nothing I can add in that. There is nothing I can take away from that. We'll have to love our kids. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jay, for such a powerful message. Our next speaker is Cassandra Dr. K. Brown. Dr. K, also known as the Tilted Fedora Trainer. She is a highly sought after, internationally known speaker, teacher, author, and coach. She has inspired and motivated thousands to transform their lives and results by teaching the practical application of the universal truth. She is a researcher and a teacher at heart. Dr. K offers a number of presentations that will meet the unique needs of your organization. Having served as an assistant pastor, Christian ED director, women's ministry director, and youth pastor, Dr. K is equally comfortable teaching in an intimate workshop seminar or speaking from large stages. Now, as a certified John Maxwell team member, Dr. K has launched her professional speaking brand, the Tilted Fedora Trainer. So kings and queens, help me to welcome the Tilted Fedora Trainer.
Thank you, Noam. I am so happy and glad to be here. I am grateful to be in the presence of greatness with Christina and Jay Reese, and of course with yourself. If you were watching, you saw my eyes doing all kinds of things because Jay took one of my points and I had to quickly find another one because so much good information is here. I want to echo the point that Jay took, but I also want to give you another point so that when you leave this time in this experience, you'll have 9 good parenting tips that will help you as you raise your children. As I said in my introduction, all of my sons are grown, and don't need a loan. That's the goal. That's the goal, that you remember that you are raising adults. They are children now, but you are raising adults. So the first point that I want to give you, and there are 3, the first point that I want to give you is to have a vision for their lives as you raise them. The Bible says, and let me grab my notes here. The Bible says in Psalms 127, verse 4, Psalm 127, verse 4, that our children are like arrows in the hands of a warrior. And then it goes on to say, blessed is the man whose quiver is full. So the more children you have, the more blessed by God you are. And I believe that sincerely. It's not a curse to have children. They are a blessing. But like arrows in the hands of the archer, so our children are. Think about that metaphor. When you point an arrow, you don't point it willy-nilly. You have a target. You have a vision for where that arrow is to land. You also have a plan. You know how far back you're going to pull the bow. You know at one point you're going to release it. It's done with intentionality. And that's the way we are to raise our children. Let your children know your goal for their lives. Let them know your aims as you're raising them, as you are doing the different things, as you are applying discipline, as Jay mentioned earlier. You let them know, hey, I'm not grounding you just because I want to see your face in the house all the time. I'm grounding you because I want you to develop self-control. Because when you become an adult, you're going to have to make decisions for yourself and live with those consequences. So because I'm your mom, I'm your dad, I'm in charge of setting those boundaries, determining those consequences for you to teach you that life decisions have consequences. And whatever the consequences are, you're going to deal with all of them. That should help you make better decisions. And then we have a conversation about how to make decisions. I love how Jay talked about this interaction, this giving our children an opportunity to state their concerns, to give you their perspective, if you will. Their view on their lives is significantly important. And I love what Christina said about being vulnerable. In that moment, go ahead and let them say what they need to say. Require that they be respectful. That's part of the vision, that you know how to respect authority, because one day you're going to be stopped by a police officer. Both you and the police officer want to survive that stop. Believe it or not, the police officer wants to go home to his family and you want to go home to yours. So even in the stop, you both have one goal. So when I teach my children to be respectful of authority, I'm playing into that vision. I want you to be a person in authority. I want you to know how to treat authority. That way, when you do get stopped by authority, when you encounter authority, you know how to handle authority so that you learn and grow through the experience rather than just go through and get hurt. So the first tip that I have for you is set your vision for your children. Include in that vision loving them according to the way that they need to be loved. I love that. In the vulnerability, teaching them how to self-heal. How do we honor and show gratitude in this experience? How do we embody and express those feelings? Figure out where they're from. Allow and accept. Some things, the Serenity Prayer says there are some things that we can change. There are some things that we can't change, and we need wisdom to know the difference. And then to accept those things that we can't change, but to really go out of our comfort zone, thank you, Christina, to change those things we can. All of that goes into the vision for what you want your child to become. Set a target and then begin to tell them what that target is. My method of speaking and teaching is to teach you how to apply biblical truth or universal truth to your lives so that you can experience the blessing of honoring that truth. Understand this. There is a phrase that we use that is used wrongly, and it's called breaking the law. No law is ever broken. What happens is people break themselves on the law. The law stands. Jay, in punishing his child and disciplining his daughter, she did something she was not supposed to do. His rule is still there. The rule didn't break. But she's getting broken on the rule because now she is experiencing the consequences of having disobeyed daddy's rule. So now daddy, being a good daddy, wants to teach her how to honor rules. That's part of his vision for her life. She will be a law-abiding citizen. He wants to teach her how to take the consequences for the decisions that she makes. That's self-responsibility. Self-responsibility goes into self-determination. So have that vision for your children. As you look at this child, think about what that child will be as an adult and begin to train that child in that direction. But not only train them in that direction, let them know. Let them know. We had an experience when my sons were growing up. A young man was a dope dealer. He was a gangbanger. He got out of jail. He's sitting in a car with a friend, and we're watching from our balcony. We see two hooded guys walk up. We walk away from the door. The next thing we hear is 11 gunshots. They shot into the car and killed that young man. I looked at my sons and I said, I'm not raising you for that lifestyle. Immediately, I'm not raising you for that lifestyle. I'm not raising you to go to jail. I'm not raising you not to have a job. I'm not raising you to do drugs. I'm not raising you to be a gangbanger. That is not my vision for your life. You have the option. If that's the way you want to go, you can. But understand this, nothing that I am doing will lead you to that road. To this day, I don't have a drug dealer. I don't have a gangbanger. None of my children have been in jail. And they heard that from me as they were growing up. My goal for you is to have a job. My goal for you is to take care of your families. My goal for you is to marry a wonderful woman and have a beautiful marriage. My goal for you is to give me plenty of grandkids. I targeted them. Now, they've done everything else except for the grandkids. We're working on that. Point two. Point two is I want to say something that may shock you. Believe it or not, you are the perfect parent. And your child is the perfect child. But hear it this way. You are not a perfect parent, but you are the perfect parent for that child. Your child is not the perfect child, but they are the perfect child for you. The Bible says that we were created in the image of God. God always operates in intentionality. So when that child was conceived in your womb, Christina, he was designed to be your son. And when he was conceived in your womb, you were designed to be his mom. You are put into a divine relationship. Jay is not the father of his two daughters by accident. And I know we hear Les Brown talk about 400 million sperm. He's right. 400 million, only one sperm created one child. That child is unique and uniquely yours. You are the perfect parent for that child, and you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent for that child. And that child is the perfect child for you. And guess what? They don't have to be perfect to be the perfect child for you. That is by God's design. When my children were growing up, they would say, you don't do things like this in a democracy. And I'd tell them, you don't live in a democracy. And they'd say, oh no, we live in the United States of America. This is a democracy. I said, oh no, you live in this house. And this house is not a democracy. This house is a divine momocracy. What is a momocracy? Christina, I was a single parent. I was a single parent, married parent, single parent. Divine momocracy. What does that mean? It's divine because God gave you to me. It's a momocracy because I'm the mama. I'm the one who makes the rules in this house. I'm the one who establishes the standard of behavior in this house. If you don't want to live in a divine momocracy, you are free to go ahead and create your own household. When you're 10, 11, and 12, that's kind of hard to do. But I explained to them that I was their parent by God's design. So this is what God has chosen for your lives. He has given you to me. He has blessed us with one another. He has gifted us. As a parent, as your parent, I am your gift from God. And as my child, you are my gift from God. And I understand my responsibility as your mom to handle you as the precious gift that you are, as both Christina and Jay have pointed out. And Christina, I got a special love for NICU nurses. My son was a preemie. So I spent 3 months in the NICU, three and a half months in the NICU, watching the nurses take care of him and grow him for me while I could not grow him in the home. So I have a great love for nurses in the NICU. But that divine, and if you're not a single parent, if you're a single dad, it's a single dadocracy. If you are a two-parent family like Jay, it's a divine parentocracy. They have the right to speak. They have the right to state their opinions. But when the final decision is made, it belongs to the one who's in authority. So understand this, you are the perfect parent for your child, and your child is the perfect child for you. And neither one of you has to be perfect to fulfill that role. Do your best. Bring your best self to the table every day or as often as possible. But understand this, you do not have to be perfect, even though you are perfect by God's perfect design. Okay, point number 3. I'm watching my time here, and I've got to go through this last one. Now, this last one is an equation. I want you to write this down. If you get it, put it in the comments. And I saw somebody put divine momocracy in the comments. Thank you. Put this in the comments. And it is relationship plus rules equals respect/love. Relationship plus rules equals respect/love. The other half of that equation is the inverse. Rules minus relationship equals rebellion. Rules minus relationship equals rebellion. What am I stressing? I'm stressing relationship. I'm stressing relationship. I love what Jay had to say about learning the love languages of your child. Love your child the way they need it, the way they need to be loved, not the way you want to be loved. I know as we all grew up, and Nam said this in part of what she said, and Jay said it as well, our parents did the best they could with the knowledge they had. And I don't care what your parents did, assume it, that in that moment, they were doing the best they could with the information that they had. If they knew better, they would have done better. We trust that. We trust that. Now that you are learning better, you're taking it upon yourself to learn better, do better. Create that relationship with your child so that when you give them rules, they can handle it. They'll respect authority. They will love you. Every child wants to have boundaries. Boundaries are a beautiful thing. Boundaries give them the most freedom that they could ever experience. It gives them a realm in which to operate. Now, yes, I know everybody talks about going out of your comfort zone. That's when you're an adult. When you're a child, that boundary is important. It keeps them safe. It gives them a realm in which they can safely play. And they can safely experiment. They can safely grow. They can safely fail. They can safely succeed. That's why that relationship, consider that relationship, your boundaries and those rules are what govern that relationship. When you put those rules in place and you maintain that relationship, that child is going to respect you and love you. Remember the arrow? That's one of the targets. But when you decide to set rules, but you establish no relationship, you don't bother to find out how your child needs to be loved. You don't bother to find out who this gift is. You don't unwrap that package. You end up with rebellion because you don't know this child. Jay, I'm sure as a father of two, is finding out you can't discipline one the way you discipline the other. Have 4 different kids, 4 different discipline styles. One I could look at and he would melt into tears. We didn't have any more problems. My baby, the one that was a preemie, pain was not a problem for him. He had been poked and prodded since he was born. So a whipping didn't go as far with him as it did with one of my other sons. So I had to watch each one to uniquely learn what that child's way was or way is, and then raise them according to that way. That's the relationship. And when I worked on making the relationship, when I established the rules and had to give discipline because they decided to go against the rules, we had an understanding. They knew those rules were put in place for their blessing, not for their cursing. But they only learned that in the relationship. They only learned that in the conversation. So as I built our relationship, and then we could have those conversations, when it was time to discipline, they accepted the discipline. They accepted the consequences. But when I didn't have to discipline, I was able to lavish them with praise. And they got a good self-conversation going. Love what Jay talked about. That self-conversation is real. What your children are saying to themselves subconsciously is what you have said to them consciously. You need to maintain that. So as I close this up, because my 10 minutes are over, I may have gone a little bit over. Remember that you are the perfect parent for your child, and your child is the perfect child for you. Remember that they are arrows, and you are to point them in a specific direction and let them know what the target is. That way you'll know you've been a successful parent. That's part of determining what success looks like for you. Last is that equation. Remember, relationship plus rules. You'll get respect and love. But if you create rules and you don't have relationship, you're bound to get rebellion. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I love the equations. Relationship plus rules equal to respect and love. But if you have the rules and you don't build the relationship, it's equal to rebellion. That was profound. Thank you so much, Dr. K. Thank you so much. You've mentioned that we are the perfect parents for our children. And our children are also perfect too, but none of us has to be perfect. What a profound message. Thank you, Dr. K. Thank you for such a powerful message. So I'm going to be the next speaker. And my name is Riel. I am an energetic professional speaker, author to Rise to Greater Heights book, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I am also a mentor and a coach, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. I believe that we're in full control of our own choices. So my title, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. So as I wear many hats as a certified professional sales manager, a strategian, philanthropist, commissioner for oats, following my dreams, it gave me to see my purpose and understand that I have everything around me to reach to my full potential. My message, my everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you have everything around you to accomplish all of your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27, and Psalms 40 keeps me to rise to greater heights. So to our viewers online, please feel free, if you have any questions to any of the speakers today, please feel free to put in the chat box and we'll attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. But before I continue, I just want to double check here. If I'm in the right platform here, how many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Nompumelelo, I have never, ever complained in life? Never, ever complained in life. Never. Okay, seemingly I am in the right platform here because, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really disappointing. You name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting. And it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It is always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they're apt to have a bad health. So next time I'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes? Yet they're round. And funny enough, they're cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down. Can single parents be successful? Can single parents be successful? Being a single parent is not a setback. You have to own your single parent status, find what you love, and just do it. Yes, you can be a single parent and make millions while raising your young ones. One essential tool for success in business is confidence. And you may ask me why. I'm glad you've asked that. Because if you lack confidence, people can smell a lack of it in you. So you'll have to start strong and self-fund by being a certified hustler. And remember that operating on a budget and problem solving are both general skills for a successful parent entrepreneur. For me, honestly, I used to worry about money constantly, asking myself exactly how do you start a business broke? As Christina mentioned, that you'll have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So the concept of hustling is not a new one, of course. So all of the single mothers out there who are holding the fort and raising a family all by themselves, given the opportunity, they can start and sustain multi-million-dollar organizations. You really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you'll have to take the first step to get to the top. So I then chose to showcase to the world that, you know what, I can be a single mom and still have it all by setting goals for my business and for my life. I was convinced that there are numerous single moms out there with great experiences. So I decided to wear the hustler hat and created work that is profitable but not visible. So good people, this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call, but please, when the alarm clock goes off, don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and set your goals for success? Life is not always about being spick and span and perfect. You'll have to appreciate yourself and give yourself credit for the way you are bringing up your children. Be happy and content in your life instead of wondering what could have happened if the father was there. While it may sound difficult, it is also the imperfections of life that give it character. And that is how your children will see the love and know what efforts you're putting in for them. As flight attendants always say that put on the oxygen mask first before you help the person next to you. Because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could fall down. So realizing how amazing your children have turned out to be, and you'll have to realize how amazing your children have turned out to be, and just give yourself a pat on the back. Of course, you will have your highs and lows in life. Just take a look at the way you have brought your children up, and remember that your children have you, and that is more than enough. Like Jay mentioned, that we need to learn to love our kids the way they need to be loved. Our words, honestly, it has so much power over how our children view themselves. So I leaned into the word, and I applied it on my daily life to guide me. Because there is no doubt it takes an unbelievable amount of strength and courage to raise kids on your own. But for the fact that single parents can function just as fine or even better than whole families is an accomplishment on itself. I so wish that you can tell yourself out there, if you're watching, if you're a single parent, that you know what, I'll have to make a difference within me. I'll have to make a difference to this world around me. I'll have to make a difference to those who look at me as an inspiration. But in order for you to make that difference, honestly, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. You know, it's so funny. That hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant by the jungle or that small squirrel. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. Lunch to that lion. And it's so funny because even with elephants, I believe it's all about the mindset. Once you tell yourself you are, you become. So even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. They told themselves that I am a lunch to that lion. Each and every time when I see that lion, I'll have to run. So I believe that's the mindset that we need for successful parenting. As a single parent raising children, you can find yourself in vulnerable places. And of course, you must be heavily reliant on already overstretched social systems. Why? Because these statistics aren't great for the children of a single parent, honestly. And this can be very, very discouraging. This can be a very discouraging fact of life. But I believe that God has angels to dispatch in my defense for protection, like protection against dangerous people or situations. By the way, I like your quote, Dr. K, when you say that relationship plus rules equals respect and love. So when a single mom is at peace, so is her household, because she has hope for their future, and God has a purpose for every single mother's child. My everyday book, it says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. At the end of the day, failure shouldn't be our undertaker, good people, but an opportunity to begin again and again, as long as you learn from it. To all the single parents out there watching, you must know what you want in life, because you are solely responsible for your success and your failure. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals that you want to achieve, to put in the chat box, rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights. Remember that your dreams are valid, and all you need to do is fight for them. And the way you think about a fact may even defeat you before you even try anything. So it is important. It is so important to focus on the actions needed to be taken and fail fast, so that you learn what not to do in life. And the sooner you realize that failure is just a temporary detour, you will keep on trying and build the right attitude. Blaming others of not reaching your goals in life can paralyze you and make your dreams become impossible. Please handle failure with dignity and pride, because you will not succeed in life without failing first. Please write this down. Write this down. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. If I can be honest with you, honestly, I don't know what dreams you've set for your future. I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. But here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has better plans for every one of us. Your objective is what you're designed for and the reason why you live today. I believe that with God on our side, we are all destined for greatness. Discovering your gift and following God's idea will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, and what books will die with you? And he also continued that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the visions, all the goals have been buried. And he also mentioned that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. I don't know about you, but with me listening to this message, it just gave me sleepless nights. And I am really proud today to introduce the Rise to Greater Heights book before you. Thank you. This is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. So this book has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And by the way, Les Brown himself, he wrote the foreword in this book, and I'm really humbled by that. And you will be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, positive mindset, single parenting, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth. Because, growing up as an individual, I didn't have much because my dad decided to have an early departure from this planet. But I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I have a free transformation guide for you that can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It's available on my website. It's www.risetogreaterheights.com. Because I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Nompumelelo Riel Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you. Thank you. Whew, thank you, amazing speakers. So to our speakers, please feel free to share your final thoughts on successful parenting to our viewers online before we wrap up. And I'm just going to check if we have any questions that have been posted. So any speaker can just jump in and share your final thoughts.
Thank you so much to all three of these speakers. Beautiful, beautiful messages. I mean, y'all, I was taking notes. When I say I was taking notes, okay? And I am so moved just by how we can take parenting from either a single viewpoint or from a single parent viewpoint and apply the same principles to how we raise our children, how we need to put ourselves first in order to take care of those around us. Because as we know, if we aren't taking care of ourselves, if we're not self-loving, as Jay talked about, if we're not visualizing what we entail for our kids, then we cannot do that for ourselves, right? So we get to step up, we get to step into greatness. Thank you so much, Noam. And we get to heal as an individual so that we can show up for our kids the way we need to, the way they deserve us to stand up for. They deserve a voice. And I think this is all so beautiful. And I'm so grateful to be part of this powerful panel of beautiful humans. And thank you, Noam, for inviting me today, and everybody that's out there who has listened and spent time just investing in us and in our message. And that is just so important. So thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Christina is saying, I feel that there's so many common themes here, regardless of what your parenting situation is, single, with someone, not the best relationship. The fact that you're watching this video and trying to learn more, to know better, personally, I feel like you're already a successful parent. And just hearing what all of my colleagues are saying, and again, to go back to what Christina's saying, all these beautiful speakers here are just saying, dropping such knowledge. I've learned some things. I got my notes too, you know. So I'm happy to be a part of this. And I think the one takeaway, I mean, there's like 20 million things I have written down, but I think if I had my one takeaway, Dr. K, that formula, I think you're right. Relationship plus rules equal respect and love. And if you flip it, rules minus relationships equal rebellion. Regardless of what you're implementing into your life, if that isn't a part of the formula, you're going to have some issues. So my personal take, but that's what I got away from.
This has been absolutely wonderful. I wrote in the comments on YouTube, this is good. This is good. I love what Noam had to say. I'm still getting tongue-tied on her name. So what Noam had to say in terms of being a parent doesn't have to stop you from reaching your own personal goals and accomplishing your own personal visions. Being a parent plays into that because you are teaching your children that they can reach their goals, that they can overcome their obstacles. The point that Jay and I had in common is what he said about being a role model to his children. I call that life is better caught than taught, or more is caught than taught. We can teach our children, we can speak, we can wag fingers, we can lecture, great, wonderful lectures. But if we are not embodying those things that we are saying to them, then they're not going to get it. They're going to watch what we do and listen to what we say. And if there is any discontinuity, they're going to do what they see. They're going to model the behavior they see. They're not going to necessarily obey the laws or the rules that they hear. That plays back into that relationship. There was a commercial some years ago. You probably won't see it now, but some years ago, there was a commercial with a man being followed by his young son. And they're out taking a walk near a stream. So dad picks up a stick and he throws it. And little boy picks up a stick and he throws it. Dad sees a rock and he picks up the rock and he skips it on the water in the lake. And the little boy picks up a rock and he skips it on the water in the lake. Literally everything dad did, the little boy did. Then dad reached into his pocket and grabbed a cigarette. And everybody knew what was going to happen next. The little boy reaches down to grab a little stick and puts it in his mouth so he can smoke like daddy smokes. None of daddy saying, "Don't smoke, son," would have stopped that child from becoming a smoker because daddy was a smoker. Understand this, parents. Whether your children tell you or not, they want to be just like you. Little girls want to be like mommy. Little boys want to be like daddy. Why? Because they know instinctively, intuitively, that they're not going to be children forever. They know that they are growing. And they are growing into what you already are. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to be on this platform. Noam, thank you so very much. Christina, got nothing but love for you. As a NICU nurse, your job is so extraordinarily important. I know firsthand. And then as a single parent raising a son, I know that realm well too. And it is definitely doable. Jay Reese, your daughter's going to get beyond her discipline, but thank you so much for being a good dad. Thank you for being the parent who says the rule stands. You break yourself on the rules, but the rule stands, and you suffer the consequences of all the decisions that you make. That is teaching her how to make good decisions so that she'll experience great results. And Noam, what can I say? What can I say, Ms. Master Motivator? I love you can be a single parent and make millions while you're raising your kids. It would have been so nice to hear you say that 15 years ago when I was in that position. But that's okay. I'm in that position now. I'm working on my millions. And I thank you. I thank you again for the opportunity to share this time with you today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. K, and all the speakers, Christina, Jay. Wow. The comments we get on YouTube, oh my goodness. Elijah Garcia is saying, this is incredible. And Dr. K is saying, this is good. I didn't know that you went over that side. And Dolly Dixon, she's always here. She's saying you'll have to get comfortable by being uncomfortable. And she's just clapping hands for you guys. And Dr. K is saying, don't hit the snooze button. Yes, I've said that. That's a bad habit to start and a hard one to break. Dolly Dixon is saying, yeah, that's so true. Again, Dr. K, failure is a temporary debt, so handle it with dignity and respect. God has put seeds of excellence in every one of us. Yes, don't take your goals, visions, ideas, and dreams to the grave. That's so true. This is so amazing. Dolly Dixon is saying that great job, everyone. Great job. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. To our viewers online, thank you so much for joining us today at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope you've been inspired, motivated, and ready to rise to greater heights. Join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siyabonga.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as